Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Draw Straws podcast. My name is Nelson, and this is my co-host Logan, and welcome back. And it's been another week. We're recording on Saturday. It's currently 6:26 p.m. I think this is a little bit earlier than what we normally do for
Yep.
recordings because there are times where we've recorded at like what, 9 p.m. or something.
Yeah. Even later sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, there have been times, but I mean, I had the day off and everything, so I think that's probably why we're able to actually get started a little bit ahead of time. But I mean, how's your week been?
Very good. I've been doing a lot of homework. I'm doing a winter session for my classes, and that's been going well. It's all asynchronous classes, so not too concerning. But there's a lot of homework. Let's just say that there's a lot of work to do always, and I've spent probably more time reading in the last week than I have like my entire life. So
Yeah.
a lot of reading. I'm not very good at reading. I get distracted pretty easily, and it's just kind of hard for me to get through long passages. But the reading has been good. I think the textbook that I'm reading is more like a manual or something, and it's good. It's about design and figuring out how to make things intuitive for people. So UX is what they call it, user experience, and we're trying to figure out how to make things so people can use them. And you know, talking about stuff like human error, and people are just naturally make errors all the time. So you have to kind of account for that in the design of a product. And the guy that wrote the book, is you can tell he's pretty angry about some of the disasters that have happened in the past, some of the big
Yeah.
disasters that come down to human error. He's like, yeah, it's
So,
not human error, it's design error. The design of the product is just terrible. So, yeah,
yeah.
he always blames the design of the product, not the person.
Okay, you may have answered this already, but what class is this?
It's called Human Centered Design, and it's for computer science. It's a computer science course, but people who are not in that major can take those classes.
So is it designing like I know you said user experience. Is it like a user interface or something? Is that what it is? Or
It's more like we're not actually designing user interfaces. We're mostly learning about the ways to make products easy for people to interact with. So it's
I see.
not
So
it's not necessarily even computers. It could just be like a washing machine.
you're just trying to make something easily accessible and understandable
Yeah.
for the average person,
Yeah.
someone with, I guess you could say, a low IQ.
Well, not necessarily. Like people with high IQ
Well, no,
struggle with everyday items all the
I
time.
know.
Like you
I
can
know
tell
that's
this
true.
guy, the guy that wrote the book, is pretty high IQ, but he's like, I don't know how to open doors. I can't figure out how to open doors. Like you push, you pull. Which side do you push on? Is it a revolving door? He's like, yeah. He had a whole chapter basically on just
A
doors.
revolving door?
Yeah, he's like, one time my friend got trapped and it was like a glass door and he couldn't figure out how to open it, and it turned out he was pushing on the wrong side of the door.
There are, I will say, there are a few people I know in my life that I feel like they would try to slam a revolving door.
Just spins around in a circle. Yeah.
Well, that's, well, how are you liking that class? Is it going okay for you or no?
Yeah,
I know
grades
you said
wise
it's a
it's
lot of reading.
yeah, it's just a lot of reading. And I like I said, I'm not very good at reading. Reading is not something I like to do in my free time, so I'm not used to it. But I like the thing is I like to be able to understand what I'm reading, and sometimes when I'm just like getting through it, I don't understand it, so I have to go back and reread it and make sure that I understood what's going on. And you can tell that some of the other students in the class haven't read or understood what they're reading,
Yeah.
because we do discussions, and I'll like in the discussion he wants you to give a summary and some of the things you found interesting, so on, and I give my thoughts, and then other people will comment on that, and they'll be like, "Oh, that's what that meant. I didn't realize that was what he was talking about." So, I mean, that's one good thing about the discussions, I guess, is it can help people that don't really understand what they're being taught. So that I guess that's one good thing to keep in mind if I ever decide to become a teacher and make discussions for the students to post on so that they can figure out what they're reading together.
You do strike me as someone I would say who would like to do teaching to some extent.
It's in the cards. I haven't decided yet. I've been thinking about like potential lesson plans that I might do if I was a teacher. Um, because when I have a bad teacher or a professor, that is when
Yeah.
I am most motivated to become a teacher because I see what they do wrong and I think I can do that better. I think I can
You
improve
do.
upon their processes.
They're a perfect example of what not to do.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
100%. So, right now
You
I
can
don't have any
tell.
bad teachers, so it's like, I might become a teacher, I might not, I'm not sure. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
I might end up being a teacher. I do like the idea, I guess, of becoming a teacher more than I think I like the logistics. I don't know. It's like that first year's got to be hard, right? Because you got to come up with the schedule for the year, and it's the first time you're ever doing that. And after that, you just follow the same schedule or change some things here and there. But you've got to like look at a textbook, read it all the way through. If you're doing practice problems for the students, you got to make sure that they're good practice problems. Like we've all had math teachers that have given us practice problems that we just think are crazy, and then after you complete the problems, you bring them to the teacher next day, and they're like, "Oh, that's a terrible problem. Why did I ever give that to you?" So that's like, I don't know. Maybe you just expect the first year not to go super well, and you just say, "Hey, this is the first time we're doing this. We're going to try these things, and if they don't work out, we're going to figure it out later and try to improve."
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. That's my biggest apprehension with becoming a teacher is figuring out the first year, and then like, it's another 2 years of education, and I already
Well, I
want to do an extra two, so it'll be like 8 years total of college education, which is just ridiculous.
meanwhile I'm just doing plumbing and that's about it.
I mean, that's it's harder than you think. I'm sure. Like you
No,
have to know a lot to
I'm
be a
not
plumber.
saying. Oh, well,
I mean, it's
yeah.
definitely harder than I think. Like most people, they see a plumber and they're like, "Oh, he just unclogs the toilet." But no, there's a lot more to it than that. Especially if you're going into like industrial plumbing, you have to
You
design
need to know that
systems of pipes and figure out how everything
you got to
works
know that.
together with the pre-existing stuff. It's like,
Yeah, the inner workings and everything,
yeah,
especially.
that's got to be kind of difficult, especially like if you want to do it right. And I'm sure
Well,
most, like a lot of plumbers don't.
I don't know if I mentioned it on the last podcast or anything, but um, oh my goodness, what was it? When you apply for this place, I showed you the website and everything.
Yep.
They have you work with a master plumber so they can help you get certified, which is really cool. So,
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean, I
that
think
sounds
that's
like a
great.
good deal.
It's a really good system, I would say, for what they have going for at least. It's a really good system. So you start at the bottom and you can just it's only up to you to work your way up. And
Yeah.
they apparently, well, you saw it, they reward you know, challenge and everything, or you will be rewarded if you ask questions and if you face certain challenges and you solve problems essentially. I get it. Unclogging the toilet may be not that much of a challenge, but
Yeah.
there's a lot more to it than that.
Right. Well, and I'm
So,
sure there's plenty of teamwork if you're working on like a construction project. Like you have to work with the contractors, you have to work with the
and you're
electricians, you got to work with everybody to get that thing done. I can't imagine like it's the same. It's basically a computer science thing because in the computer science field, you have the designers, then you have the programmers, the developers, then you have the what do you call them? The marketing team. Then you have the higher ups, um, the bosses, the what else? Uh, what do you call them?
I understand
Investors,
what you
that
mean.
sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to deal with all those levels of complexity, and it's just like it can be overwhelming, and you have to work with everybody on your team. So even if you're a developer, it's not just working with all those other layers. You have to work with the other developers that are on your development team.
Well,
So
I think another thing too is that you want to do a good job, but you're also worried about, to some extent, what other people are going to say about you for how you do your job and everything, I
yeah,
guess you could say.
yeah,
I may think I'm doing a good job because that's how I was taught and that's what's expected of me, but someone else may look at my work and say, "Dude, that's terrible. You need to scrape it off and start from scratch again."
yeah.
I
Well, and
I don't know.
chances are you're going to have different methods of completing a task, and there may be uh, differences between you and your team members about how to complete what you're working on. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's interesting. We'll see how that ends up going. Especially, that's one thing that I don't think I would enjoy so much.
I
All the
just don't like
constraints.
working. I don't like working with other people, but it's something that I know that I will have to accept to some extent. And I mean, I do at the job that I'm currently at, I do work with some of my coworkers. They may pass and deflect work onto me, and it's kind of frustrating to some extent because I'm in the back doing something that's important, I guess you could say, like trying to file or fix something, managing the inventory, and then one of my coworkers comes back and he's like, "Oh, can you help out this person?" And so I walk up and he's the only person, and I'm thinking, "Okay, you're just deflecting work onto me and you're taking away time and stuff that I could be doing. That way you guys don't have to worry about looking for a part later on."
Yeah.
That's what's been happening as of
Well,
late.
and I
They've been,
assume that's going to be the case for almost every job. You're going to have people
well,
who are overachievers and people who sit back and push work on other people. That's just kind of how it goes.
well, of course it is.
Yeah.
And I don't mean, I'm not going to bring up work all that much, but there was, I think it was yesterday. Pretty sure it was yesterday. I told my girlfriend, I said, honestly, I'm just gonna go online tomorrow and look at the website that I mentioned to you about and just apply
Yeah.
and
Sounds
see if
good.
I get hired. I didn't do it because I don't know. I guess I was experiencing a lot of emotions in that moment because what happened was my coworker was like, "So what happened? Why didn't this get checked in? It's been over a month since we ordered it."
Mm.
And I just said, I couldn't really say anything because I knew whatever I said, it was going to get used against me. So I just said, "I don't know. I don't know what happened. There's nothing that I can do. As
Yeah.
long as the problem is solved, that's all that matters to me. But I don't know." I do know exactly what the problem was. It was because I was being pulled into so many different directions and I was being asked way too much out of me
Yeah.
that the core expectation fell completely flat on its face. And that's what irks me a little bit. And I wanted to tell him, and I said, "You know what, dude? Don't even try to bring this down onto me and say it's my fault because it's not. It it,
Well,
it
I
was
mean, I think
ridiculous.
like the appropriate response would be like, "Well, I've,
That's what was going
it
on
is
in my
my,
head.
yeah, like it is my task to do that, to check these things in, but I was busy helping customers that you and the others have brought to me, so just didn't get checked in, or I don't
I
know.
know.
That's fine.
Well, and the thing is, I mentioned this to my bosses, and they're aware of it, and I don't know if she talked to them about it yet.
Yeah,
But I told her, I said, a core aspect of like the business that you guys make money off of is falling apart because they keep pulling me aside to do these stupid little tasks, and it's just frustrating.
right.
I look, that's all I'm gonna say, but it just I somehow bring work into all this and I don't mean to, but that's just one of my few little gripes that I have, and it's just rubs me the wrong way because I really do wish, and I told my boss this, I said, I don't feel rewarded anymore. I don't. It's starting to make me feel like my aspirations and my motivations or whatever other synonym you want to say, it's being just diminished. It's crushing. I may
Yeah.
be dramatic, but it's like I don't want to work if this is how it's going to be. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I'd rather just go somewhere else. But the thing is, well, my mom, and she is right about it. She said you need at least just stay there. Stay there until June. That way you'll have 6 months. It'll look good on the resume. That way it doesn't look like when you're applying, you're job hopping. And I said, okay, I will. I'll do it. I'll put up for another 6 months until June, just to, you know, hopefully by then I'll have a little bit more experience because now I could hopefully by then be at the point where I could say I am someone who has done and delved into a little bit of everything, I guess you could say. Like I've sold a bunch of mowers, equipment, managed the inventory, made sales orders for deliveries, um, whatever else I can't think of off the top of my head. I'm sure it would come to my mind if I were to do something like that, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, speaking of sales, last week we had briefly discussed what we had hoped to talk about this week, and that is Christmas, which it's been a while now since Christmas. We are, what, 16 days
11
since
days.
Christmas?
Well, we're 11 days into the new year, so yeah, 16 days.
So, wait, there are 32 days in December, aren't there? 18 days.
32, 32 days
31?
in December.
31.
We have 32 days in December?
31, right? Is it 31?
It's
Gosh dang it.
31.
Is it 31?
December 32nd.
Yeah, 31. Sorry. So it's 17. 17. No.
1785.
Gosh, I don't remember what I said anymore.
That's
Let's
okay.
see.
We were talking about what we got for Christmas and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah. So Christmas, we don't want to, toot our own horns or anything, but
Yeah,
Christmas
what
is
we
a
can
time
get.
where you give people presents and it's all sorts of fun, and we're very lucky. We have lots of family that's nearby that we really love. We all share gifts, and it's fun. So um, yeah, even Nelson and I, we shared some gifts with each other this Christmas, and it was a lot of fun. So we thought we would share a little bit with you, a little peek into what we got, at least for each other. Um, you got me Johnny the Walrus and a book. That is pretty awesome. I love that, and it's right back there. Actually, it's right in front of my bed. So he's a cute little walrus. He's about this big. He got my dad one as well. That's a lot of fun. And it came with this book. That's kind of funny, but yeah, that's a Matt Walsh book. I don't know if you've ever, and Nelson's definitely heard of Matt Walsh, but for the viewers, if you've never heard of Matt Walsh, he's a conservative commentator, and he does a bunch of uh, very, what would you say, like
He has the
stern.
dad energy, I guess
Yeah,
you
he has
could
very
say.
very like stern dad energy. So yeah, a lot of his commentaries around that, and he wrote
He
this.
is
This is a
fun.
children's book, and it's kind of a joke, but it's pretty funny. Um,
We've talked about Matt Walsh before on the podcast with
have we?
his movie. We have with that
That's right.
movie.
Yeah, you're right. We did with the movie. Yeah.
I
So I
can't
love the
remember the title
walrus.
of it.
Yeah.
Oh my god. No, it wasn't What Is a Woman. It's the one where
Am I
oh, am I
racist?
racist? I'm sorry.
Took me a while too. Let's see. What else did I get? I got a few Xbox gift cards, some games. I got. Let's see. This one, Star Wars Outlaws. I started that one. This one, Sonic Shadow Generations. I've never played a Sonic game before, so that's fun. Space Marine 2.
Oh, you got Space Marine too?
Yeah, it's pretty epic. It's like this
That's
game,
cool.
it's so gory and bloody and disgusting,
It's
and it's
Gears of War
terrible.
essentially, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah, it's
It's
terrible.
it's
But it's like,
How's it
man,
terrible?
do you feel like a boss when you play this game? Like no
That's the
other game
point.
I've ever played has made me feel like such a beast. Cause you're
Well,
like
other
this
than Gears
10 foot
of War,
tall
but yeah.
dude, and you're in this tons of armor. You've got a chainsaw. You got giant guns, and the sounds are super satisfying. Anyway, and I got this as well, Indiana Jones. Uh, I already had this with Game Pass, but I wanted the disc because I'm not going to be paying for Ultimate anymore because it's too expensive. So, yeah, got a lot of games. What else did I get?
That's good.
Uh, some clothes. Like always, love clothes. So, yeah, very happy with what I got for Christmas. Obviously, I wish I could have given more. Um I'm waiting for that solid income where I can just set money aside and have some to give. You know, I wish I could give more, but I got a lot. I'm still pretty young. I know I probably could have given more, but I didn't. What about you? How'd you do?
I thought my Christmas was good.
Yeah.
I thought it was. You guys, your family got me a bunch of Milwaukee Home Depot gift cards. Milwaukee, you got me a Milwaukee hat. You got me a Milwaukee shirt. The gift cards, of course.
Yep.
You guys, you and your sister, you bought me the Target dog stuffed animals. I love those. They're on my bed at the moment, so that's nice. I would show it, but then I'd have to take off my headphones and everything.
Yeah,
But
that's all right.
um,
I didn't show the walrus. He's back there. I think that's him right there.
and then what was it? My girlfriend, she bought me a bullpup. Oh, here's one of them. I do like this one a lot. So this one's nice.
Squishmallow.
Yeah, it's just yeah. Um, I also got my girlfriend got me a bullpup Nerf gun, which I thought was really cool.
Oh, cool.
It was, oh my gosh, what it's called the
Is it
Moto Blitz.
okay? Is it
It's a
actually
it's
Nerf branded or is it one of the other ones?
it's Nerf branded. It's Nerf branded.
Very cool.
I will say Nerf as of late has been on a downward trend,
Downward
I would say.
spiral. Yeah.
Yeah, they've gotten really bad, I would say, in terms of the quality of their products and everything. I think they've gotten pretty bad as of late.
Yeah.
Elite series and then the Modula series, that was peak Nerf in my opinion. I
Yeah.
really do think that was the golden age of Nerf, I would say.
Yeah. I
I do think
agree.
it was
Is there
because you
like
could
which ones might be
the
better?
the Strife was the best Nerf gun, hands down. The Strife was the best of the best. Bang
Yeah.
for your buck.
Yeah.
It was the best Nerf gun of all time, I would say.
Yeah. I agree.
And I have a bunch of Stripes. I do.
Didn't I give you one? Isn't there like
Uh,
for Christmas last
no,
year?
you have your Walmart Stripe still.
Do I?
You still with the Arctic camo and everything on it.
Okay. So it was the Centurion, right? That I gave you? Centurion?
You gave me the Centurion, the big sniper rifle. You gave me the
Yeah.
Centurion, and you also gave me the Zombie Strike one.
That's right. I remember that. That's
You
awesome.
told me to pick out two, and I picked out those two.
Very
So,
cool.
so those are nice. I love those things. They're great. They're awesome. And then what was it? Grandma, she bought me that other Nerf gun. It's called the oh my gosh, what brand is it? It's a really good Nerf. It's one of the competitors to Nerf. They're actually better than Nerf in my opinion because they actually
What is it? Dart
care
Zone or
about
something?
Dark Zone. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Really good. They made
Yeah.
a Stripe equivalent for Dark Zone, and the FPS it takes like six AA batteries, and it's
Yeah.
like 200 FPS. It's crazy good. It's awesome. It probably if I were to do another like competitive Nerf war match, I would use that. That's how it's just great, and it's compatible with the Nerf magazines, and
Yeah. That's
it's got
always
a
nice.
really it's got a really cool AK style magazine release.
Mhm.
So, but
Sweet.
I know I'm going off the rails here because we're supposed to be talking about Christmas gifts, but I'll go back to that. So other than the Nerf stuff, I also got another tool set, which is nice. I got a socket set, I got an impact and a driver set, a drill, not a
That's so
driver.
cool.
It was nice.
Yeah.
It's a really nice tool set, I will say.
That's awesome.
that's gonna be my home stuff. I'm gonna keep this. I'm gonna keep that stuff at home. When
Yeah.
I'm done with the place that I'm working at, I'm gonna bring all my tools home, of course, and I'll probably buy a. I asked my mom. I asked her if I were to get a toolbox, what size toolbox should I get? And she said, well, you should do something that gives you something to work on. And I said, okay, I'll probably do like either a 52-inch or a 56-inch, uh, not a toolbox, a tool chest set.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be for in the garage, and I'll have all my Milwaukee stuff in there. That'll be
Uh-huh.
nice.
Yeah. Very good.
But yeah, so I think that's pretty much what I got. And then my girlfriend, she got me this
Oh
Series X
yeah.
storage extension, and this thing works really well. So I'm basically good when it comes to storage at this point.
You're up to 3 terabytes, is that right?
I think so, yeah. Now it's 3 terabytes, so I don't have to worry all that much about pretty much anything. I only play a very small select few of video games, I would say, on my console, but
Yeah.
Call of Duty, I would say, is probably the one that takes the most space, which is unfortunate because I just wish that they would somehow be able to compress their file size down. But the problem with it is they make it run on one application and it's just content bloat and that's it. It's unfortunate, but I mean, I haven't, I mean, I've been playing a little bit of COD. I played a little bit today with my girlfriend. We played zombies. That was nice, but
Yeah.
yeah, they got to sort out some of their issues. I'm just gonna say that. I mean, we've been playing Marvel Rivals as well. That's
Yep.
been fun.
Yep.
They
We're gonna
just came
talk
out with
about
a new
that.
season. Yeah, but okay. Anyways, um,
I'm
I
trying to
also
actually look
got.
for the file size of that game right now. Do you know what it is?
I, I think it's like 60 gigs
Uh, 70
on Xbox. Oh, okay.
on
Well,
Steam at least.
on my mom, she bought me some clothes, which is nice, and I think that's about it. I may get myself in trouble for saying that because my mom is
Yeah.
probably going to say, I bought you this, I bought you that. She got me a bunch of stuff in my stocking,
Yep.
which is great.
Yep.
She got me, I think it was a Steam gift card. I
Yep.
haven't used it yet. I should use it
Ah.
eventually.
I
I
got
don't
a
know.
Steam gift card and I actually took advantage of the like my mom and dad got me this. I took advantage of the winter sale or whatever it was, and I got like I think I got Spider-Man remastered, Hogwarts Legacy, and one other game. What was it? Gosh, I don't remember now. But yeah, I got a lot of games for like $50 or something, so it was pretty crazy.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, and now I have a reason to play on my Steam Deck. Apart from Marvel Rivals.
Yeah, I saw you play Stardew Valley.
Oh, that's the
It
one.
was,
Yeah, Stardew
yeah.
Valley. Yeah, that's right. I mean they're pretty good games. I don't know. I'm still learning how to play them and obviously getting like 40 FPS or so on the Steam Deck with, you know, all the bits and bobs, AMD FSR and so on. So, yeah, pretty good.
I should have bought Resident Evil 4 when it was on sale. I probably should have bought that. That way I could have played it on PC, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Uh, I just keep running into issues on PC, especially with the whole troubleshooting and everything. I do what I can to make it stable as possible, but I don't know why. For some reason, I do not like optimizing games. I'd rather it just work straight out of the box. That's why I'm just sticking with console at this point, and then PC can just be production, and that's about it.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I have watched a little news on Nvidia's upcoming graphics cards. Have you heard anything about them?
so what I do know, I texted, I think, a little bit of it to you. I don't
Yes.
know if this is what we're talking about,
Yeah.
but what is it, the 50,
70.
what the 5070? It's supposed to be the exact same performance as the 4090, but the asterisk is only if you have DLSS 4 enabled.
Right.
So you have to use an upscaling AI technology in order to have the exact same performance. And I'm thinking, okay, if we're getting to the point now where we're gonna have like a fake frame rate, I
Right.
guess, or we're utilizing a certain technology that is able to achieve performance similar to the 4090,
Yeah.
but the hardware isn't actually the same as the 4090,
Yeah.
then what's even the point? Forget it. Just go with Intel. And I don't
Yeah.
even know if they disclosed what the VRAM is going to be on those cards. Are they still doing 8 gigabytes, 12 gigabytes, 16 and then 24, or are they
Um.
doing just 8 gigs and 12 for that? Because that was the problem with the 40 series, was because some of their graphics cards were 8 gigs of VRAM, and that's not enough these days to
Yeah.
run games
Yeah.
at this point.
Yeah. I don't
So
actually know
unlike
know those figures, but I almost
unlike
assume they would start at 12 nowadays.
unlike Intel,
Yeah.
they actually have it
They give us
priced
the
at
sauce.
what was it, like $250 for
Yeah.
12 gigs of VRAM? Like that's good. That's
Yeah.
a good deal. That was making AMD quiver a little bit.
Yeah. Exactly.
And look, I'm not saying I hate the whole graphics card. It's just as bad as the whole console fanboy nonsense where Xbox is better than PlayStation.
Right.
PlayStation is better than Xbox.
Yeah.
Oh, you scrubs and plebs, get a PC. What are you, poor?
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Everybody
because
is nowadays.
at this rate, yeah, because nobody can afford it.
Yeah.
And then you get companies, say what you will about Intel, but at least, they understand that there is a market out there for a lot of people who want like a good budget gaming PC that's going to last them for a while at
Yeah.
least.
I kind of
So,
wonder if it's a good idea to buy a pre-built because we've had one pre-built and basically two gaming laptops and almost no issues. Of course, when you get something like that, you have like the terrible software that they load onto it, so that's like the biggest benefit of building your own PC. Um,
well, even then, look, this is my biggest gripe with Asus. I do not like the whole what do you call it, with the Asus
Armory
motherboards and
Crate.
everything. I don't like it.
Yeah,
I do
I don't
not
either.
like it at all.
Yeah,
It tells me, "Oh, you need to install Armory Crate."
yeah,
No, I'm not going to, because from what I heard, it does actually decrease your performance a little bit.
yeah,
I'm not doing it. And it goes to the root, it goes to the like the root of your system pretty much, like at the very bottom of everything, like beneath the OS
yeah.
software
I
and everything.
imagine it's a security threat.
I think it is a security threat, so I deleted it and I uninstalled everything.
Yeah,
I don't trust it.
yeah,
And they keep trying to make me download it, and I I don't know what I did, but I haven't gotten any recommendations or notifications saying, "Oh, download Armory
oh,
Crate."
that's good.
So that's my only gripe with Asus especially. And I guess you could argue, I mean, as fancy as their ROG Ally is, I will say they do pack a decent amount of hardware into those machines,
Yeah, definitely.
but the accessibility is terrible. I'm
Right.
sorry. It's not good.
Yeah,
It
Windows
really
is a bad
isn't good.
operating system for a handheld. So
It just
that's where I'm
I
hoping that the handheld market will go. Xbox will do something.
Well, what was it? Microsoft recently, they put out news, and this is kind of related to it. I'll bring it up as well after this if you want. Um, I don't know if it's true or not, but I saw a news blog or something like that that was talking about their newest handheld, and Microsoft has a lot of confidence in it.
Yeah,
It's supposed to be kind of like a PC and Xbox handheld. I'm hoping it has hardware installed into it, like actual gaming hardware,
yeah.
similar to the Series X in terms of that
Not
gaming
like a
hard
Portal.
architecture. Not like a Portal. I do not want to stream video games. I understand there are some people out there. Look, what I view the PlayStation Portal as, like, what if the Wii U actually was, you know,
What it was
a
supposed to be.
console? What it was supposed to be
Yeah,
exactly. So I'm hoping that they don't actually dive into the whole streaming gaming type of stuff. I really hope they don't do that, and it runs native.
yeah,
But there was another thing too that I saw. It was a leak that was on Twitter or something. I don't remember, but it mentioned that Xbox is supposed to release their newest console, and this is like their next gen console
yeah,
in 2026, and Call of Duty, which is going to be made by Infinity Ward during that time is going to be a launch title for the newest Xbox.
Hmm.
So I don't know if they're putting all their eggs in that basket, and
Yeah.
I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to replicate the same experience as the original Xbox 360 days, where, okay, we know that PlayStation to some extent has a planned schedule to release their next console in either 2027 or 2028. We need to get ahead of the game. We need to, because that's what made us successful in the first place.
Yeah,
That's
with the
what basically,
360.
yeah. And we need to offer players a service that's completely different from what you get with PlayStation. We need to bring in people. And I'm really hoping that rumor is true about you do not have to pay for Xbox Live to play online multiplayer. If that's the case, they've won. You know how much good press they would get? It'd be crazy.
Yeah.
I'd stop entirely on playing on my PlayStation. I would go to Xbox. That's
Right.
how good of a that's how you win me over. And then on
Right.
top of that, I do think as well to some extent with I don't know if you remember, but Gears of War E Day when it got revealed, I think it was like past this past year or something
Yeah.
in like the fall at the Summer Games Fest, I think it was, um, back in June of 2024 or something around that time. I think that I'm wondering if that's also going to be a launch title for their next console, but only
Yeah.
time will tell, and it's only up to them if they want to screw it up or not.
Yeah.
But I know I went down a rabbit hole and everything, but
Well, no, as far as I know, Xbox has so much lined up for the next few years, and there's really like they're in a position to expand, I think, their audience, and I think that Xbox has always been the pioneers of live service, right? So they started the trend with paying a subscription for live service access. They had started Game Pass, right? So you have access to a certain number of games for a subscription fee, and I imagine that they'll keep paving that path forward, and PlayStation's just going to follow along like they always have. Um, so yeah, I think that there's a really solid path for them to create a handheld, and the PlayStation Portal really does have its audience. Like they really have improved, as far as I know, the way it works. The connection's much better than it used to be, or something. And I think um, they added just cloud streaming, so you don't actually have to have a PS5 to play on it. So I think if they could get something out like that, it wouldn't be bad, especially if it were for a really cheap price, like maybe um, $250 or something like that, and you just have spilled on yourself.
I don't know if I did. I was checking. I don't think I did. I think I'm good.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah. But if they
sorry.
had if they had something like that where they I don't know, just had like a portal for you to play cloud games that actually worked really well. Like they really like their cloud streaming service is not where it needs to be for something like that to work. But I think that like with Nvidia, I think they have GeForce Now or whatever it is, where you can stream games to a less powerful device, and I've heard that works really well. So if they could
I've
get
used
something
it
like that
before.
to work, it could be okay.
Before I got into PC gaming, I did actually use that as a way of actually playing a lot of video games that had high-end graphics. And I thought it worked actually decent at the time. The only issue that I had with it was latency, and that's about it.
Do you see this? Look what
What's that you got?
my brother just delivered me a milkshake.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh, mm.
That's a big old
Oh
straw. Oh
man,
my
that
gosh.
tastes like happiness.
Homemade or?
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
that's nice. That's good.
Yeah. You want to talk about Marvel Rivals?
Yeah, we can. Yeah.
Let's
Uh,
do it. Um,
what was it? That game came out, I think it was like the first or second week of December, and I just put it aside and everything. I saw ads for it, and I thought, yeah, it's probably just gonna be one of those games that it. it's only going to have a little bit of attraction for the first month, and then it's
Yeah,
just going to probably lose and just die off and everything. Oh, it looks like an Overwatch clone. And
yeah,
but the thing is, with that argument, a lot of people, a lot of Overwatch players, they make that argument. They're like, "Oh, it's just an Overwatch clone." Okay, well, why don't you talk to the Team Fortress 2 players and see what they have to say? Because Overwatch
that's
is
right.
a direct inspiration of Team Fortress 2.
Mm-hmm.
And you could ask my younger brother, and he's like, yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, he's a
It's
diehard Team Fortress player, isn't
he is a god at it. I
he?
don't know I don't know how to describe it. He's amazing at it. He loves all the indie titles and all the stuff that Valve makes. He's played Half-Life, Half-Life 1 and well, Half-Life 2.
Yeah,
He's played all the episodes. He's played Portal. He's just a Valve fanatic. Just amazing at all that stuff. And
sounds like he
there
needs a
are
Steam Deck.
well, I don't know. I'll see what I can do for him. Maybe for his birthday or something. I'll see if I can
That's
get
funny.
him like a used Valve Steam Deck that's been
They do have those
refurbished.
for a pretty good price on that.
It's like $200 or something, I think.
Yeah,
So I'll think about it. And mom, if you're watching this, yeah, I probably will do that for his birthday. I'll see. But um,
just announce it to the whole world. Anyway, Marvel Rivals. I at first I thought it was like a mobile game. Like there's
that's what
a
I thought too.
yeah. There's a Star Wars game that came out recently. It's like called Star Wars Hunters or something like that. And it's a mobile game, but it's also on consoles and PC, I think, and it's cross-platform and whatever. But it's basically a mobile game, and the graphics are pretty bad. So I played that on Switch, but it's just kind of a basic whatever game. It's not very playable, and I 100% expected Marvel Rivals to be exactly the same. And I don't know what about it said that to me. I
I think it was just I didn't see okay, I saw ads for it, but it just didn't draw my attention as much for some reason. And I
yeah
saw a lot of people playing it online, and I thought to myself, well, I'm bored of COD at the moment.
yep
COD is in a pretty bad state, I would say.
yep
Let me just download it, give it a try, and I got hooked on it. And apparently Iron Man is like one of the worst characters in the game, but I somehow am
a god at
I don't
playing Iron Man.
I love playing as Iron Man in
Yeah.
that game. He's a lot of fun to play.
Mhm.
He's a two-star difficulty character, but I don't I don't know. I like his character a lot. I love the customization and the cosmetics that they have for him, and
The
I think
cosmetics are definitely a topic.
they've gone, oh my gosh, they've gone off the rails with the cosmetics. The art
They're
style
let's just
helps a
say
lot
they're
too.
giving men what they want.
Well, we get super buff and jack dudes for men. It full blown testosterone.
Yeah.
It appeals to that's my male fantasy right there. Like I love like pull up that no, get your video game copy of Space Marine 2 real quick.
Okay.
That's exactly that's appealing to me. Being like a super buffed up testosterone dude. It's just
Look at
awesome
that
to me
guy.
playing as super jacked up dudes and everything just beating and destroying people around them. I think it's funny.
Yeah.
Any video game that has male characters like that, especially for uh, Gears of War especially comes to my mind when for that type of stuff, where it's this
Yeah.
ultra testosterone male soldier. I think it's great, and Marvel Rivals does that greatly,
Right.
and they don't shy away from especially the female characters too.
Yeah.
And you could argue, yeah, some of the female characters to some extent they're a little bit on the risque side of things, I guess you could say,
Have you seen
where
the
they
newest Invisible Woman skin?
well, yes, I have,
She's
and
got like
I
half of her butt sticking out.
their proportions, I will say, well, that's the same for the males too. You got to make that argument as well.
Okay.
Both the men and women, their proportions are
Yeah.
exaggerated, but this is in a comic book art style as
Yeah.
well, so
Yeah. So it's
that's
not
another thing
too
too.
graphic, is what you're trying to say.
No,
It's not gonna like I don't know.
but
It's not
Concord died
it's
so
still
this
kind
could
of
live on.
cartoony. Yeah,
Concord died so this can live on. That's
100%.
basically
Yeah,
because if you look at Concord, oh my gosh, that was just the I don't know what they were going with that game with
yeah.
the art style and
Well, and
everything.
Concord fans seem to hate this game because it's like the exact opposite of what Concord was. Concord was realistic representative designs. So they had fat characters that you know nobody would want to be a character from Concord. You know, you see those characters and it's like,
Who wants to
who
play
wants
as
to look
this
like that?
guy?
Yeah. Um, it's no secret that people like things that are attractive. People like people that
Well,
are attractive, right?
I'm gonna say something controversial yet brave. Sex sells.
100%.
It's just that it's just that's how it's always been.
Yeah, that's just how
It's
it
how it's
is.
always
People
it
like
is.
attractive
And
things. People like attractive people. That's how it
my
is.
mom's gonna my mom's gonna text me after watching what I just said, and she's gonna be like, "You're a freaking I'm gonna strangle you."
But yeah,
So
I think that the attractiveness of this game to guys is like twofold. So you have the really hot women that pull the guys in.
you got the
They're like
super
in they're all in
men.
skin tight suits and they're like they've got proportions that is like only 1% of actual real people have these proportions. Um, and then they all have good looking faces, whatever. And then you have the guys, the male characters. So once the guy gets into the game, he's pulled in by the attractive females. He looks at the male characters and he's like, "I want to look like that. Look at that, like Mr. Fantastic." Hang on, I got to show you a picture of Mr.
I know he's
Fantastic.
good. Well, Iron Man, I like Iron Man's physique and everything in the game too. I think they did a really good job on it with his physique. He's got the really huge, broad, buff shoulders and
Yeah,
everything. They put an emphasis on his shoulders, especially because if you pay attention to his reload animation, you see his shoulders like expand a little bit and retract to showcase that his repulsors are ready again.
yeah,
Really cool stuff, I think, and they did a really good job, I would say, with a lot of the animations and the art style and the characters for what they have going. I think it's great for what they have.
yeah.
My girlfriend, she's been using oh my gosh, what's her name?
Black Widow, Scarlet
Wanda.
Witch.
Scarlet Witch. Yeah,
Yeah,
she's been using Scarlet Witch a lot, and she told me that's one of the characters that she enjoys using a lot, and
yeah,
it's a beginner's character, and it's a way to it's a good stepping stone to learn about the game and
yeah,
everything. She's good at it. She actually is. She tells me she doesn't think that she is, but I do think she is good at Marvel Rivals, and Iron Man's pretty much like the only one of the only characters that I played. I wanted to try out Sue Storm for a little bit. I think I will probably, maybe later tonight or tomorrow. I'll see. But
yeah.
because she's a
Um,
support character, I think, and she can do all the healing and stuff. But yeah, you were saying?
so this is like what you first see of Invisible Woman. They give you a backside view of her, of course. Um,
Well, we got to. We
so
need a
that's
backside for.
yeah,
Why not?
that's
What's wrong with?
that's how men are roped in. They see this and they're like, "Oh, Invisible Woman, she's pretty attractive." But Mr. Fantastic, look at this guy. He's awesome. I mean, this is a pretty bad picture, but let's see if I can find a better one. He's got that pretty awesome beard. He's a stretchy boy. They have a good.
Did you play the new
There we
map
go.
yet? I haven't played it.
Yes, I have. He's super buff, and he's got the cool hair and the awesome beard, and yeah, it's like a guy sees that and he's like, man, I wish I could look like that, and maybe he
I
does
think
something to look like that, right? Um,
what was I going to say? I think I think I can bring up this argument that Marvel and the superhero genre, especially, I don't think is a dead or dying, like it's not as popular as it once was. And I think the problem was that the superhero movies have just gotten bad, and it gave people that idea or
Yeah.
perception that, oh, the superhero genre is not as popular as it once was.
Yeah.
I think this proves that idea wrong
Yeah.
because it showcases that Marvel, they are capable of making good products. They
Yeah.
are. It's just that they're just not
It's all garbage.
utilizing they're not utilizing their resources properly.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Marvel Studios especially would ever make a comeback, but for the games that they have going on that utilize these characters, I I think it showcases to me at least that, yeah, the superhero genre is still a an amazing it's still more popular than it ever has been before. And I don't know, a lot of people like to say, well, Marvel Rivals will only stick around for probably about a month or so, and then it'll die off and lose like 80% of its player base. I don't know. It's got over 450,000 concurrent players on Steam, so it's been over a month. I know for a
Yeah.
fact, and I hate to admit it, X Defiant, unfortunately, it didn't retain the player base that it once had initially due to the fact that it lacked a lot of content.
Yeah.
And that's why the game eventually shut down.
Yeah.
Also, because of Ubisoft, they're purposely, the theory is at the moment, they're purposely trying to hinder like their assets, and they're shutting down a bunch of games and studios so that way they can be bought out by like Tencent Studios or something.
Right.
But I'm going down the rabbit hole again. But back to Marvel Rivals, at least I will say I think this game does prove that the superhero genre is something that it's not going out. I would
Right.
say
Yeah.
a lot of people they want to watch, especially the Batman.
Yeah.
I want to see the Batman
It's
Part Two.
cool.
It got delayed again to 2027. I think it was 2026. I think or 2027. I don't remember, but I don't know what's going on over there because
Hopefully they
I
figure it
guess
out.
I know, and I'm really hoping that. Look, I know James Gunn said that he was going to leave the director Matt Reeves alone for his Batman universe and everything, and I applaud him for that. I just hope that Warner Brothers doesn't shoehorn the Batman into this new DC universe that James Gunn is creating.
Yeah.
I really hope not. I hope that he's given the creative freedom because, look, as much as I would like a fantastical Batman, I do. I would. We've had that plenty of times. You had 1960s, you had what's his name? With Michael Keaton's Batman with Tim Burton. So that was, I would say, as fantastical as you can get.
Yeah.
Anything beyond that, if you dive too much into it, I think it's terrible with Arnold Schwarzenegger and everything. I think we talked about this
Yeah.
before. So,
Yeah.
but
I think the
it's
point
just
you made is it's not, and it's really good. It's not superhero fatigue. It's story fatigue. The
that's
stories
pretty
have
much
gotten
it.
so ridiculous and stupid, um,
It's redundant.
that nobody's interested in it. And
Well,
part of the problem,
people
I
don't
think, is
care
it's
about.
convoluted too. It's like if you haven't kept up with it, you don't know what's going on, and it's just intimidating to a lot of people. And that's part of
It's like
what ropes people into this game is it's all separate from everything that's ever happened. And if you miss the first season, which is season 0, there's no problem. Doesn't matter because you can just hop right into season 1 and be fine. So
well, the thing is, especially when it comes to around, I guess you could say for the superhero movies that have come out lately, I'm getting really tired of, especially with Marvel. And I last Marvel show that I kept up with was WandaVision, and I'm just gonna say it, that was exhausting.
yeah,
It was exhausting to keep up with, and I
they've
mean
made too
that was
many shows that are hard to watch.
it was during COVID and everything, but the thing is, in order for you to understand the next Marvel movie, you had to have watched and kept up with the material leading up to that.
Yeah,
So you had to do your homework before you could actually go into a movie theater and just watch the next movie. You had to do that. And there's this Marvel movie that's coming up in May of 20 of this year,
yeah,
and I thought it was actually kind of interesting, but then I thought to myself, okay, am I going to have to watch all the stuff prior leading up to that so that way I know exactly what's happening?
yep,
The movie is called Thunderbolts. It's basically, I guess you could say, to me at least, I may be completely wrong on this, but they're like anti heroes. It's a group of anti heroes,
oh,
and it's It's got Sebastian Stan as Bucky and some of the characters from the Black Widow movie, and it has what's his name from the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It was the evil Captain America, the bad Captain America, I guess, or the false Captain America.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was, but it's called Thunderbolts, and it looked pretty interesting to me.
Yeah.
But I came to the realization, I'm like, okay, am I gonna have to rewatch all that stuff
Yeah.
or something like that in order to refresh my memory? And I don't know. I
Yeah.
I, I don't watch those movies every day. I'm not that insane like I once was, I guess, but
Yeah, it's really rough to try to keep up with so much.
it's
Like,
tiresome. I think what they need to do is they need to have some type of codex or something. That way you can just do a quick read to easily catch you up on what's been happening.
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah, there's
It just
probably a fairly elegant way to figure something out like that.
I don't
It's
know.
I
But
I'm sure it just hasn't been found yet.
I heard a rumor. I don't know if it's true or not, but I think like after what was it, Deadpool and Wolverine happened or something like that. I think the leader of Marvel Studios, Kevin Feige, I'm pretty sure he fired a whole bunch of like the DEI diversity directors and everything. I don't know if that's true or not because it kept, I guess, just sapping their creativity and their creative freedom for how they want to depict characters and their stories. I don't know. But I really do think to some extent for the Marvel Studios aspect for making movies and everything, I do think it's been on a downward trend, and I don't think it's ever going to pick itself back up
Yeah, we'll see.
because you don't really, at this rate, you don't really have any origin story at this point. You don't really start off with like a new, I guess you could say, new character being introduced or a new group of people. I guess you could say maybe the Fantastic Four would be a good starting point as like a reset button.
Yeah.
That's going to come up. I don't
Yeah.
know if that's going to do anything.
Well, and
I
that
don't
leads me
know.
into something because like when nobody knows when the last Fantastic Four movie was. Like I don't
It
it
was like 2015, 2016,
was it
I
really
think.
that recently?
That was well, and that one was pretty bad
Yeah.
from what I heard. It
Yeah.
was worse than the original one than the
That was like
Fox movie.
'07, wasn't it? Or around there,
Uh, Well,
early
the
thousands.
Fantastic Four that I know was the one that was from the early 2000s, made by
I
Fox.
think I
I know
watched that
that.
one.
That had Chris Evans in it as the Human
Yeah.
Torch.
Yeah.
That was the one that I know. And then you had what's his name? The Thing. I think that's his name.
Yeah.
And then Sue Storm or
Yeah.
not Sue Storm. Is it Sue
Yeah,
Storm?
Sue
Oh
Storm. Yeah,
gosh,
yeah.
I'm Sue Storm. I don't know why I'm
Invisible
blanking out.
Woman.
The Invisible Woman, and then Mr. Fantastic himself, of course. And I
Yeah.
thought that movie is corny and cheesy, and to some extent, it's like a B movie.
Yeah.
I would say
Yeah.
it embraces it, and
Yeah.
it's aware of it. That it's you have the Silver Surfer and everything. It makes sense.
Mhm.
So
But one of the cool things about this game is like you most people like are aware of Mr. Fantastic, but they don't really know what he's about. I'm kind of in that camp. Like I think I watched the movie, like that the movie we were talking about with Chris Evans. Um but I don't remember much of it. And it's kind of cool cuz you get this cool introduction video that has him being awesome in it. And at the bottom in the description it gives you a little description of him. It's like it's cool. And then in the game you have dialogue between the characters just before the game starts, and it kind of explains. And at one point it's like, I don't know if we'll have the mind power to get through what this universe thing and
everybody talks smack to my character. I will say that
yeah
they all are
to to Tony.
billionaires.
But
They
they're like, yeah,
always do.
between you and Tony Stark, Reed Richards is Mr. Fantastic. He's supposed to be the super smart doctor guy or something. And is like, between you and Tony Stark, you should be able to figure this out. So it's kind of cool. Like all these characters, all these superheroes are not just like super attractive, super buff. They're also like extremely
They're
smart.
aware. They're aware of their surroundings and the world that they're in.
Yeah.
Like I don't know the storyline in for what's going on within Marvel Rivals, but I do think from what I heard that Iron Man caused like this time slip or something. That's what I heard. I don't know if it's true or not, but I think
Yeah.
that's what the story is or something within Marvel Rivals. I
Well,
would
and
have
you
to
can
check.
have fun in the game without knowing the story too.
I know because here's the thing. I saw a comment on a video of what a couple weeks back. I saw something that said, "I'm having more fun losing on Marvel Rivals than I am on Overwatch." Like people are having fun losing.
Yeah.
Like, and I was wondering. I did a quick Google search to see if it was actually true. I said, "Is there skill-based matchmaking within Marvel Rivals?" I don't think there is.
They have
Maybe
a
there
quick
is.
match mode and a ranked mode.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Okay, and I do actually appreciate the way that they handled the ranking system where, oh, you don't play X amount of matches and then you get put into a rank. You actually have to work your way up to the rank.
Yeah.
I think that's a good system. I do. I'm not going to play ranked because I do not want to sweat and hate myself because I will cry myself to sleep if I do.
Well, and
But
see,
I
that's a great
appreciate
thing about the game is they have it for everyone. They have it for the casual gamers and
casuals.
the crazies.
Well, the casuals, they're having just as much fun as the hardcore players, and they don't
Yeah.
feel left out or anything. That
Yeah.
was the biggest problem with, from what I heard, with Overwatch and Overwatch 2, was that they had a difficult time trying to appeal to casual players because their game was so focused on esports and trying to make the
Yeah.
game as competitive as possible.
Yeah.
And if you didn't run a certain character, if you didn't run a, what's it called, there's three different classes in Marvel Rivals. It was, what was it, there was duelist, strategist, and support, I believe. I
Yeah.
think those are the three. And if you, let's say for example in Overwatch, if you ran, I don't know, a certain character, you could either be booted out of the game, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if, I don't remember if that was the feature or something, but there was a role queue. There was a role queue in the game. You could pick your role and play as that role so that way you could actually win the game and everything. And a lot of people, a lot of the Overwatch players are advocating for that to be implemented into the game. And I'm thinking, guys, just let them have their fun. It's quick play. If you
Yeah.
want to do that, go play ranked. I
Yeah.
don't
Play.
understand.
Yeah. If I don't know if they added a mode that was like that, that would probably be fine with me. But like, don't
It's
infringe upon the fun of other people for that.
it's supposed to be stupid, chaotic fun.
Yeah.
It's supposed to. You can run six duelists and have a blast, and you can destroy everyone.
Right.
It's possible.
Right.
You don't need support.
Yeah.
Support is, it'd be great to heal. I will say that
Yeah.
having a healing factor is good. But guess what? I'm Iron Man, and I don't have to deal with all the healing stuff because guess what? I'm flying in the air, just lasering people.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. That's one of the best things about this game. Like, not only
Spider-Man
are there,
makes me mad.
oh my gosh, dude, he comes around the corner like crazy.
Well, Yuri, what's his last name? Lowenpal, I think. I forgot how to pronounce his name. He's
Yeah.
the same. It's the same voice actor who played in the Insomniac Spider-Man games
Oh,
for
really?
PS4. Yeah,
That's
it's the
cool.
same voice actor.
Oh
So
wait,
it's
I
really
gotta tell
cool.
you about some voice actor stuff. They have
Yeah,
Obi-Wan from the Clone Wars series and Asajj Ventress from the Clone Wars series.
and they have,
Obi-Wan,
yeah.
yeah, Obi-Wan is Magneto and Asajj Ventress is Hela.
Did they have what's his name from the Clone Wars? The guy who plays as all the clone troopers, Rex. Did they have him?
Oh,
They gotta. That dude is
I don't
crazy
know.
talented with his
Yeah.
voice and everything. He can do some weird, wacky stuff with his mouth.
Yeah.
He's crazy good
Perry
at
the
all that stuff.
Platypus.
Yeah, him. I forgot his name. Gosh,
No.
what's
Troy.
his name? He was so good.
I
He's
don't
such
know.
a good. He's probably one of the
Yeah,
best
I
voice
should know
actors.
his name. I really should.
Him and Keith David are. I'm sure you. Keith David. He played as the Arbiter for from
Yeah.
Halo. He's pretty well known, I would say, even outside of the voice acting world.
Yeah.
He's well known.
But the thing I like about this game is it has that for everyone vibe, right? It's not
Yeah,
it's like characters that if you know, you know. But most people are just, generally familiar with a lot of these characters. But they have some of those skins that are deep references to like the comic books. Like
yeah.
they have a Mr. Fantastic skin that it's a reference to like one comic. And then apparently the uh, Invisible Woman skin that's really hot is from the comics as well.
Wait, have you seen? Hold up. Have you seen her optional cosmetic that you can buy from the store?
I
Have
think we're
you
talking
seen it
about the same one.
for the Invisible Woman?
Yeah, I think we're talking about the same one.
Let me pull it up.
But so everybody, most people recognize these characters. That's a good thing, and the roster is so large that you can try out a bunch of the characters and then set your heart on one, and it's a lot of fun. Yep, that's the one.
This this is one of her optional like
That's the one I was talking
purchase.
about. Yeah.
Oh my!
Wait. Go down
Like
to that. Go down that one on the left.
this is yeah. This is the one.
Uh,
We may have to blur this. I don't know,
uh,
but
yeah. Yeah. A lot of people are
this.
gonna be buying that skin.
Well, yeah, of course they
Uh,
are. I thought the Psylocke one was bad. You saw the Psylocke one,
well,
right?
people thought that her regular skin was bad, and you know, it really does show off certain aspects of her. But
Yeah, but it's
yeah,
art. It's
this
art, and that goes back
this
to
even
my
more
thing.
so. Yeah.
Sex sells. Yeah, this is it. This is what I was talking about.
Yeah. Yep.
We're gonna have to blur this probably.
Uh okay.
Sorry.
We're changing before we get into anything that's too much.
Yeah, yeah. Let me open up a new tab. Forget that.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. There's plenty of characters for people to play, and they all have different abilities, and it's not hard to learn the abilities. It's not it like they have good descriptions. It's not hard to learn what does what. So for new players, you learn one character, you can basically learn all of them, and it feels pretty balanced too. I don't think any one character feels overpowered. I mean, they all feel overpowered. That's the best part.
Yeah, it's dumb, stupid, chaotic fun.
Yeah,
I would say
yeah,
it's not balanced. It absolutely isn't balanced, but everything is overpowered in the game, so it just kind of makes sense.
yeah. It's
So
balanced in that everything is overpowered. So yeah, it's a good game. I'm really enjoying it, and I hope we play it after this podcast.
yeah, we could play it if you want. I'll get on to play it.
I totally would. Um,
I need to play Iron Man again. I always have so much
I
fun
just
playing
love
as him.
Mr.
Oh my God.
Fantastic so much. I think he looks so cool. I want that beard. Give me that beard right now.
Well, oh, that goes back to another thing. The heroes, they're free. So with this new season, they made them free. You can like
It's so
this
good.
was
Like they most companies would just charge for
well,
new
Overwatch
content like that.
for Overwatch. When they first released their second game, it's not really their second. They ought to just call it Overwatch at this point
Yeah.
again. But for Overwatch 2, when it went what it was it's free to play, of course.
Yeah.
They charge money for new heroes, or you'd have to grind your way through it to get the new hero,
Yeah.
or you could just outright buy it. But for this, however, one of the biggest criticisms for this game, I think they did a play test back in like August or something. One of the biggest criticisms for this game was please make the heroes free.
Yeah.
Make it free so that way everybody can enjoy it. And that's what they're doing this time around.
Yeah. And they're
It,
only charging for cosmetics. And
and that's it.
to
And then
be
on top
fair,
of that,
like the cosmetics are worth charging for, I think, cuz like
I do think they are.
a
They're
lot of people
so
are going to buy that
expensive.
invisible woman skin
I know they are. I
cuz
know they are.
it looks good. I mean, guys
It's
can't help
distracting.
themselves.
It's distracting, Logan.
I am not
Well,
going to buy
I,
that skin. I promise.
well, I couldn't help myself. I actually did cave. I bought the Iron Man Endgame skin. I love the Mark
Uh
85. I love it. I love what they did in terms of the comic book art style form. I think that was great.
yeah.
But what is it? The battle passes, they don't expire. So they're taking a lot of inspiration
Oh
from
yeah.
Halo Infinite. So you can go back to season 0 and buy the battle pass and unlock the content through it. The battle passes will never expire, and I think that is
That's really
great.
nice.
So it basically eliminates all form of FOMO. I hate, and that is the only time I will use that word, hate. Hate. I hate FOMO. I do not like it when companies and all
Yeah.
these other video games use FOMO.
Yeah.
What I do like in regards to FOMO is knowing that it will always come back next year. So,
Right.
say for example, the Sprite Cranberry. We know it's always going to come back every December.
I want
It's
Sprite
just
cranberry. I've never had it
I know
before.
and it's good. It's really good. You need to try it. But um, that is a type of FOMO that I applaud.
Yeah.
I actually do enjoy that style of
Well, that's
FOMO.
seasonal stuff, and you know it's coming
It
back.
is season.
Yeah.
It's always going to come back. But for
Yeah.
this, no, it's never coming back.
Right.
That's the unfortunate thing with the battle passes, especially for Fortnite.
Yeah.
Now, I will give Fortnite this, and I think they are doing this, and I appreciate them. But at the same time, they're trying to like pay homage to the people who actually bought the cosmetics all the way back then, and that's fine. Fortnite, they did, I think about a month ago, they released their OG season battle pass and everything, and then you could buy the original Renegade Raider skin that came out all those years ago when Fortnite first came out.
Yeah.
So you have the opportunity to buy them again. But the thing is it's on a time limit. So it makes me wonder, okay, is Fortnite when they do a OG season 2 battle pass, when they bring back those skins, I really do think that Fortnite needs to adopt a system to where if you buy it, it's yours to keep forever and you can always play at your own pace and unlock content. And that's one of my other gripes with Marvel Rivals. I don't know if they fixed it or not, but a lot of people were saying they weren't happy that you have to do challenges to unlock content in the battle pass instead of just playing the game. I've always just played the game and I've unlocked some stuff in the battle pass, but it's not as frequent as if I were to do the challenges. I really think that if you want me to keep playing your game, I would much rather just play and unlock
Play it the way
content.
I want to and unlock the content.
Yeah, that's what I think it ought to be. And that was the biggest problem with Halo Infinite was they butchered the entire progression system to where you had to play a certain way to unlock content. And a lot of people were like, nope, forget it. I don't want to play that way.
Yeah.
I'm going to go do something else. And I really, I would have to check and see. I wonder if they did make that adjustment. I don't know if it's true. I don't know. But
Yeah.
I think that's, if you want me to keep, I don't want to have to play a certain way to unlock content.
Yeah.
I want to play my way to unlock content.
I think it's like you have to unlock crystals or something, and then that helps
It's those
you pay
purple
for the
gems or
content.
something.
Yeah.
It's purple gems, I think.
Yeah. 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 I think they have challenges, but I don't know that they're for the
I would
battle
much
pass
rather have
anymore.
I would much rather have like a set earn rate for, oh, if you play a match, if you win,
Yeah.
we'll give you X amount of gems and you can use that to buy content within the battle pass. Or if you lose, you'll get a little bit less, but we'll reward you for your performance. I think a
Yeah.
lot of it ought to be performance based as well
Yeah.
because,
So if
oh
you're
cool, if
like the
I'm
best on the team, you get some extra rewards or something.
it's great when you
Yeah.
play a video game and it rewards you. That's what makes them so addicting and fun,
Yeah.
and that's what makes you want to keep playing. It makes you want to waste your time on them
Uh huh.
instead of the game wasting your time.
Right.
So
Yeah. Well,
that's
overall, it's got. I think it's a solid game. My biggest thing is like I want to aim down sights with left trigger, so I always try to do that, and I end up using an ability. That's like my
do,
biggest problem with the game, but it's like you just
does
get
it
used to it.
remind you does it remind you at all of like Plants vs Zombies to some extent?
Um, a little
Because
bit.
PvZ is kind of hero shooter, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of in the same category. They are very different games though.
Well, the sunflowers are the healers, and then you have the
Yeah,
soldiers, which
yeah,
and then you have the brawlers, of course, those zombie
right.
brawlers. You have the football players, which are the really heavy,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I
it
guess.
it is it is similar in a lot of ways and different in a lot of ways. Uh, I want to we have to try more game modes in Marvel Rivals to kind of get a
You
better
probably have more
idea of how it
playtime than
is.
me now at this point. I wouldn't
Say
be
what?
surprised. You probably have more playtime than me.
Um, just a few hours, I think.
I don't know how many hours I clocked in. I don't know. I'd have to check, but
Yeah, yeah, but it's a lot of fun. Um, I do have one. Like we're an hour and something minutes in, aren't we? Hour and 14.
hour four, I'm hour 14 in.
I do have a little politics to talk about if you'd like.
Yeah, if you want to make a hard
switch gears.
transition into politics. I
Yeah,
mean, but
yeah,
we did kind of bring up a little bit of politics with the Marvel Rivals stuff with all the,
yeah.
I mean, you get
I mean, we can
activists
talk
like
about that briefly. Like, it's a
people
pretty,
are always
it,
they're always going to complain. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
yeah,
It's a known fact. Whether it's has to do with the whole look, people like things that are attractive.
yeah,
I will say that. And for the people that say, well, it's just sexist and it makes women look like they're figures and everything. Okay,
yeah,
well, what about for the men and
yeah.
everything? What about those
It's the same
expectations?
across the board. Like,
It goes both ways.
you could say it's unattainable, but uh, I mean, sure, it's
But
going to
it's
be
so
unattainable for most people, but
I think it's funny that
it's something to aspire to, right?
a lot of guys want to aspire to look like the super buffed, bulky
Yeah,
dudes to some extent, I would
yeah,
say.
it's cool. I mean, when you're flabby and chubby like me, it's like
Or
I
if you're
wish
a
I
slim
had
dude
pecs
like
like that.
me.
I'm gonna keep working out and see if I can get there. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's kind of interesting that the conservative viewpoint at this point is like we like hot women because it's like
It used to be the opposite, I thought, no,
yeah,
where like, oh, you
right,
shouldn't be able to show certain parts of your body or
exactly,
showcase or show certain types of physique of your body, I guess.
right,
Like,
yeah, cover up. That's conservative. Being
well,
conserve your body and leave it only for intimate
well,
situations.
I, that's what I think for the most part, because let
Yeah,
me tell you, it does get distracting in, especially in public. Look,
yeah,
it's for guys especially. Look, our eyes do follow a lot of curvature. It's just a human phenomenon. It's psychologically proven. That's what
yeah.
I've learned from a lot of my psychology classes. The curves are attractive, I will say.
Men are weak. That's what we learn.
Well, women are too. Well, don't take that out of context, but women as well do fall under this as well. They do like the biceps, they do like the abs, they like the big chest.
Well, they say they don't, and then when you get a super attractive guy that's got all those stuff, they're like swooning over it.
I know
Yeah.
they do.
So
They
they
do.
like to
So
pretend that they don't want the super muscular men, but
okay, well then, all right. For the same people that make that argument and everything in regards to, we don't like seeing attractive women in video games. It's like, okay, so you want ugly women in the video games.
yeah,
You want what Concord has,
exactly.
right?
Yeah.
That's so
Well, and that's become the liberal
it's art.
standpoint is we don't want um unattainable goals to be in games. We want representation. We want to see the fat and the ugly and the whatever. And don't call us fat or ugly because that's fat shaming and or racist or something. I don't know. And so I think it's just a weird like set of roles for the two political sides of the spectrum. It's just kind of interesting, when I think of conservatives, I don't think of people that really like to see curvy women, etc. Like it's like that's not what you expect, but I don't know.
Well, for I think a lot in the modern age for men our age, at least I would like to think, and I certainly do hope so to some extent. A lot of guys now they find just you know women who don't wear that much makeup or they wear clothing that like fully covered clothing, they
Yeah,
find that more attractive than what you see online
yeah.
from like the Instagram posts and everything.
Maybe it's a little of desensitization or a longing for um, someone that is modest. I don't know, somebody that's not showing off everything to everyone else, and that they're just leaving that kind of stuff for you.
Well, I will say, with the whole Instagram thing that I've mentioned, I used to own that. I used to own that app and everything. And I will say it was depressing to look at, and it makes you feel like crap when looking at it.
Yeah,
And you think to yourself, well, there's no way in heck that I'm going to live up to those expectations like that person or anything. Like,
right.
there's no way I would ever live up to that at least
Yeah,
or qualify to be with a person like that. So I eventually built up the strength to delete my account and delete the app entirely.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, within over the course of like 2 or 3 weeks, I felt a lot better.
Yeah.
And it was the exact same thing for Twitter.
Mhm.
Twitter, it was just people just mouthing off and saying that my opinion's better than yours and I'm right, you're wrong, and it was just an argument fest, and that's about
Right.
it. So I deleted Twitter. My girlfriend got me off of it, and now I feel a lot better.
Yeah.
I will say, being off of Twitter is that was probably the best thing that I've gotten off of, and now I don't have anything else to go
Yeah.
to. Only thing that I have for
YouTube.
news, YouTube, and that's it.
Yeah.
And look, I do fall trap to the YouTube shorts and everything. I do, and it's bad. But there's just content on YouTube shorts that is just like, what in the heck am I looking at? And then I get off of it.
Yeah.
And but I like to listen to either commentaries or sometimes I go to Spotify and put on like a 3 hour podcast,
Yeah.
and that works out just fine.
Mhm.
And I mean,
I mean, based on like what you were talking about earlier, I think there is a difference between going on social media and seeing all these attractive people and saying, "Wow, everybody looks like this," and I don't, and that feels bad. Um, and so there's a difference between that and like Marvel Rivals, where it's like these are all superheroes. They're not normal people. Clearly, they're cartoony. They're they're different. But they're still really smart and really cool, and they're attractive. And it'd be cool if I looked like that. He's got his girlfriend in there, and he's got his mom in
I know she was hearing me the entire time for what I said about the curves and everything.
there.
She was
Yeah.
giving me look.
Oh,
Eye on you, dude.
that's funny. Yeah, but yeah, I do think there's a difference between those two things. Like, it can be depressing to see so much content. So many people that are crazy attractive, and they seem like they're living their best life. And we all know that.
They're actually living the most depressing lives
Yeah,
possible.
we all know that most of the like people put their best foot forward on social media. That's just the case, and that's a human thing. And what you see is not very representative often of the life
No.
that the person's actually living. So
Yeah.
I think it if you're on social media, the biggest thing to do is maintain an attitude of
Have a realistic
yeah,
expectation.
yeah, realism. Yeah, be maintain realism in your brain. Don't like if you look around in our city, most of the people are like so if 5 is
Our city's
average,
bad. I'm just gonna say that. Our city's awful.
yeah,
I'm
the
just
people in
gonna
our
say
city look
that.
look pretty bad. That's just kind of how it
They're
is. And
well, you mentioned to me, look, I know you have certain standards for what you would consider attractive, and I don't want to make you uncomfortable or anything, but I remember you told me you're like, Nelson, none of the girls at my school, they're not drawing me
there
in.
are some that are
There are
attractive, but it's
some,
like
and there are some that aren't, and
they're
yeah,
you can tell like I think part of the thing about the wanting somebody that covers themselves and is modest is usually if somebody covers herself, you can tell something about their personality. Like if they're wearing a crop top and short shorts, um, you and whatever they have colored hair, dyed hair. You can usually tell something about their personality. Like maybe this person's more bubbly. Maybe they're not afraid to change their appearance, alter their appearance, and that is not something that I'm super attracted in. Is that how you say it? Super attracted to. Um, I'm attracted to girls that are fairly natural, so they don't modify their bodies too much. They stay covered, that sort of thing. But
well, I ask my girlfriend all the time this. I shouldn't ask her this all the time, but it's something that I question as a dude, I guess. Why do women wear makeup? And she's always told me it makes me feel pretty. And
yeah,
I guess you could say
there's
it
something to that.
enhances. There is something to it, like the rosy, like blemishes in the cheeks and all that stuff. Yeah, it is. Red is a very vibrant and attractive color.
Yeah,
Maybe that's why I love the color so much. Red is my favorite color. So it's a color that draws a lot of people in. It's the color that cop cars pull over the most.
the
And
the
uh
color of fast.
it is
Yeah.
pretty much. And I've asked her that question and she said, "Well, it makes me feel pretty." And I think to myself, "Well, I like how you are with or without it." And
Yeah.
it I don't know, but
Well, I mean, I guess
it's
it's a little bit
a way
like
of
putting on a nice
is,
nice pair of clothes, collared shirt, nice
is
pants.
it a is it like a way of just enhancing certain parts of your face to draw people more like draw people to your face more, I guess?
Well, I mean, like if I was
There's
wearing
some
a shirt
psychology
that
behind
made
it.
me look fat, I wouldn't want to wear that shirt, right?
Well, yeah.
So I would be inclined to wear a shirt that makes me look thinner than I am. So that's just kind of how that goes. I mean, I don't like wearing this. I don't feel like I'm all that. I don't feel like I'm well dressed. I don't feel like I'm an authority on anything. But when I
Look
put
at
on
me
a
in my
nice shirt, it's like, yeah, I feel smarter. I feel better about myself, that sort of thing. I think
well,
people are like really reliant on what they wear and how they present themselves to give them self esteem, self actualization, that sort
well,
of thing.
it does boost confidence, I will say that.
Yeah,
And there is, well, as you know, I don't know if I mentioned it to you, but I, well, I did, I think, where I made a decision that I wanted to at least dress up a little bit more nicely, I guess, or
yeah,
dress up nicer.
I did the same thing.
English bad. But uh I started tucking in like my t-shirts and stuff in into my jeans and everything. Whenever I go out of the house, I always put on a pair of jeans, I tuck in my shirt, and then I call it a day. And that's basically how I've dressed ever since. And that was like the middle of high school and everything, I guess.
Yeah,
I went from like this trashy kid to someone who wanted to at least feel a little bit better about himself that in how he dresses.
yeah,
And I remember I talked to my mom about it, and she's like, "Yeah, if you want to do that, I think you ought to do that." And I'll tell you one thing, I know I that was something that I had to build up the courage to do because it was just completely different. But
yeah,
over time, it eventually I felt a lot more comfortable and a lot more confident in the way that I presented myself, and it made me feel a lot better as a person
right.
and I was less insecure about my looks.
Yeah,
I stopped caring all that much about because I do have a little bit of an acne issue. It's just a thing for me.
yeah,
And I stopped caring about my acne issue and I think doing that just helped change I don't know, my perception in regards to that and
yeah.
I don't know.
I really think clothing can do a lot to
It can.
improve
It definitely
improve
can.
a person, especially like I don't know if you're struggling with the way you feel about yourself. Clothing's a good place to start. It can really help you, you know, create a sense of identity and give you some confidence. Like I started wearing collared shirts, especially to school, and it's like night and day difference. I don't feel like I went to school one day and I was wearing just the normal clothes that I was wearing, Crocs and and
Sorry, I don't mean to
different colored socks and a t-shirt that was like it was a graphic t-shirt that had like some weird something or other on it. I don't know,
Well,
some joke or
I wear
something.
some I do wear some graphic t-shirts,
Yeah.
I will say.
But it was
But I
like it
don't
was a
use
stupid
my
shirt. It was like a vibrant shirt. It had weird jokes on it or something and I looked at myself and I was like, I look like a doofus. Like what am I doing? So I decided from that point on to wear collared shirts and then I felt much better. So it does make a pretty big difference.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. Um
Well, I think it just means that you're creating a new standard for yourself,
yeah.
not for other people. You're thinking to yourself, okay, well, I wonder if this would be something that would help change my outlook and perception on a lot of things if I did change the way that I dressed. And for me, at least, it did. So I mean, whether or not it makes me look skinny, I guess I'm always going to be someone that's skinny. Like last time I weighed myself, I was like 135. So I'm a, what is it, a welterweight? I think that's what it is, class division for the UFC. I think I'm pretty sure.
Hmm.
I would like to get back to around 145 to 155. I would like to. I had to weigh myself again to see if I weigh
Yeah.
145 again, I'd be really happy with that.
Well, and
But
I weigh too much. I was very close to 200 pounds, and
you look
I
good
just
now.
shouldn't weigh that much. I've lost about 12 pounds, and I'm still going down. I'm trying to go for 175. That's about where I should be, theoretically. So that's what I'm aiming for, and also I'm trying to, get the, pump and iron, do a little bit, get the muscles going a little bit, so I'm
Yeah.
less flabby and more abby. But it's a hard process. It's really hard for like I am somebody who really loves food, and it's hard for me to not just binge eat to graze, right?
I think that's something that for me, I don't know what it is, and I guess, well, my mom, she's jealous of it. She's like, "Well, you can take some of my weight if you want." And I said, "Yeah, I'll take it." I guess for me, when I'm stressed out, I'm someone who doesn't eat.
Yeah, yeah.
But for my
I'm the
mom and for a
opposite.
lot of people, yeah, for a lot of people I know, they do the opposite. They eat.
Yeah,
And look, I do what I can to get at least on a minimum like 2,000 to 2,500 calories a day. That's what I do. I do what I can. I eat my breakfast. I do eat breakfast in the morning. I know a lot of people say, well, that whole breakfast isn't the most important meal of the day. That's all a myth. I think to some extent, well, I think I would rather have something in my system. That way I
yeah.
don't have to think
It's nice to
around.
have something in you in the middle in the early morning. Yeah,
I think it is. And as much as there are times where, like, yeah, I don't want to eat, I'm going to eat regardless because it'll help. I know it'll help.
right.
So I remember, what was it? When I had that, what do you call it? Ulcer. I think it was an ulcer, to be honest. My doctors didn't find anything, but I think it was an ulcer. The symptoms matched, but I don't know if it's true. Uh, I woke up every morning with like stomach pain, and
Yeah.
I I basically lost an appetite, and that was my new weight loss plan.
Hmm.
I lost over 20 pounds.
Yeah,
I
that's
went from
terrible.
155 to like 130. So I lost a lot of weight,
Yeah,
and I'm doing what I can to gain the weight. I talked to my doctor, and she said, "Oh, you just need to have an increase in your protein. You just need to eat
yeah.
protein." And I'm
That's
thinking,
one thing I'm
okay,
struggling with
I'm
is
doing
macros.
protein.
Yeah,
Look, my mom, she just got a bunch of steaks and everything, and
yeah,
I ate like I don't know how many ounces it was. It was a massive steak, and I felt full for until the next morning and everything.
yeah,
And even then, I still feel like
yeah.
nothing. Well,
That's the thing
I
about
know
meat. It's really good for keeping you full for a long period of time because that protein is hard to break down.
it takes a while,
Yeah.
and going to the bathroom is always fun, but
Yeah.
uh, it I don't know. It's something that I know I need to work on. I know that, but
Yeah,
it,
I macros is so hard for me because I'm finding out that I eat like 45% carbs, 45% fat, and then it's
I
like
need carbs.
10% protein or whatever. So
I
there's
do
like,
need carbs. I will say that.
yeah,
So
there's not enough protein in my diet, which is surprising to me because I'm somebody that really likes high protein meals. So it's strange that so much of what I eat is just fat and carbs. It's kind of a mess. But
I think I need to eat more fat.
I mean, that would
I
put
do.
weight on you pretty quick if you had high fat meals.
I know, but at the same, it's disgusting to me. I don't know. It's just gross. I guess I got into a fortunate position now at this rate where, because that did actually screw up my whole entire like eating process where I didn't want to eat anything in the morning, but like later in the afternoon, I was thinking, yeah, I could eat something. I can stomach something. The only thing I could stomach was like egg whites, toast, and applesauce, and that's about it.
Wow.
But any yeah,
I mean, egg whites are good for you. Toast, not so much, but yeah, still pretty good.
it
Good to
was
get
the only
into
thing
you.
that I could stomach. I
Yeah,
had to get something in there. I know that, but
yeah. Well, the actual political thing I wanted to talk about was,
I know. Yeah,
I mean,
I
we're
take us
almost done,
down
so
these.
that's all right. Yeah,
I know.
we it
Yeah.
was that was a good transition anyway. Um, the Trump sentencing, he's being sentenced at some point in the
Can he
near
pardon
future.
himself?
Um, I don't know if that's how that works. Like, I think he's not actually going to get prison time or anything. They're just going to label him a convicted felon, like
Yeah.
officially. So that happened. Like, he will be sentenced a few days before he's inaugurated, and yeah, he won't be incarcerated. So that's the biggest thing that I think happened in politics this week. Obviously, you had like the Prime Minister of Canada, you know, getting out of the way, and they're gonna have a thing for that. So we'll see how that goes. Canada might be going down the same path as the United States, but Ducky.
Yeah.
Um,
She kept crying. I don't know if you heard it. It was driving me nuts. She's a pill. She is a pill. I don't know what to do with
all
her.
dogs are. Uh,
She drives me nuts.
but yeah, I think that the Trump sentencing thing is ridiculous. I don't know about you. I think it's
Well, it's a
just
last
stupid.
minute thing.
Yeah, it's it's just
Well, Jimmy Carter died too. That was another thing.
oh yeah, that's right. And Obama and Trump
Biden's
were looking
favorite
pretty
president.
chummy. Did you see that?
Well, they were just chatting it up or
Yeah,
something. It seemed nice.
chatting and smiling.
I didn't take it the wrong way. At
No, I
least I
thought it
don't.
was nice. I thought it was
I thought
nice
it
that
was
after
it's
all their
good form of
differences, they can sit down and chat.
camaraderie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. Yeah. I don't know. You have any thoughts on the sentencing? It's just ridiculous to me. I
I
don't.
well, I think it's just a last minute attempt at they've thrown everything at the wall
Yeah.
and they were hoping this one was going to stick, but I don't think people now they don't care anymore. They're done with it.
Yeah.
Oh, also another thing, Justin Trudeau resigned.
Yeah. I talked about that a little bit, but you were
Oh,
letting
was
the dog in.
I wasn't listening. I'm sorry.
It was. It
Gosh
was.
dang it.
No,
With the
that's all
whole
right.
Canada in shambles. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
My
Pierre
bad.
Polyev is the guy that's supposed to come in at some point. We'll see if they actually elect him. But the I guess
They're
it's
a
not a
mess at
Democrat
the
party.
moment.
It's more like a
It's the Liberal Party or the
yeah,
NCP or
yeah,
something like that.
yeah. And they're gonna. I don't know.
Most Canadians, from what I heard at least, they want to sign on and be the 51st state of the United States.
Really?
Well, I
I
don't know if
can't
it's a
see that.
joke. I can to some extent. I think it's funny, but
I mean,
from what I saw online through all the YouTube videos and everything, I
yeah.
don't know. It may just be a small population, and it probably is, but
Well, I mean, Canada
they
is
got their
pretty
own.
small compared to the U.S. anyway.
Well, what are they? The population of California? They have like what,
Pretty close, I
34 or
think.
40 million, I think, somewhere around
Yeah,
there.
yeah. I don't know.
And then you got the fires that have been happening here in Los
California.
Angeles, of course.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Los
that's been
Angeles.
bad. It's been pretty bad, I
That's
would
really
say.
awful. Yeah,
What's crazy too is that I remember it when I saw that, I was thinking of all the well, when Trump went on to Joe Rogan and he talked about, oh, you guys, your state has so much water and
yeah.
everything, and all you guys do is let it go out into the ocean and everything with all the dams and stuff.
Right. And now they don't have
And
water
you
in
guys
in
you
the
guys don't clean your forests and everything
yeah,
because you're so scared of using technology because of all the environmentalists and everything.
yeah,
And I was this falls on the hands of the Los Angeles mayor and
yeah,
also Gavin Newsom. This
yeah.
is both of their faults. They have had multiple opportunities. They pulled funding from a lot of their fire departments
Yeah.
and their forest departments.
Right.
It's their fault. It is.
Right.
It 100% is. What was it? Like 17 million or billion or something like that in terms of funding was cut from those departments.
Yeah.
And now we're basically back to how it was a couple of years ago with those horrendous forest fires up around Sacramento. I think that's what it was.
Yeah, I
It
think
was
so.
bad. It was really bad. I don't know
Yeah.
if it was I don't know if it was last year or back in 2022,
Yeah.
where do you remember what was it? It was a car that some guy got out of when it was on fire, and he freaking pushed his car into the ditch, and it caused like hundreds of thousands of acres to catch on fire.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't
So he
remember that.
committed, what was it, like second degree arson or something? I don't know what it was,
Yeah.
but it was nuts.
Yeah.
It was, and they didn't look. That was, it was that guy's fault, of course, but it comes to show that they don't take California, especially, doesn't take care of their forests and everything.
Yeah.
And
Well, I
I don't
mean,
know if
I
we're not
feel
receiving
anger
aid. I
toward
don't
the
think.
leadership, but I feel so bad for the people that are losing their homes. That's just awful, and it's like millions
Well,
and
they gotta
millions of dollars of damages.
well, they have to leave their houses. They gotta
Yeah,
leave their cars on the streets and everything.
right. Their
And
cars are getting damaged and pushed out of the
I don't,
way, and
I don't know if California was receiving coverage for the damages and everything.
I don't
I
know
don't know.
because some like State
That didn't.
Farm got out. They got out before the fires because they saw that there was a high risk of fire.
Who got out?
State Farm.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. So and they were covering a bunch of people, and then they just got out. They were like, we got to cancel
Oh,
all of our.
the fire coverage, the fire insurance or whatever it
Yeah.
was for those houses and everything. Yeah, they just dipped.
Yeah. So that's crazy. It's there's gonna be so much
It's
money's
also
worth
their
in
fault.
damage.
It's also their fault as well.
Well, and yeah, like California was limiting the amount that State Farm could and the other insurance companies could charge for insurance premiums. So they had to get out because it wasn't like the risk was too high for them to be able to stay in and make money. Like they have to be able to make money. That's just how it goes. If you want a company to exist, they have to make money. And you know they can't make money if they're bringing in less than they're spending on protecting homes from fires, right? So they just dipped. They're like, "Hey, California's limiting us. We're out. That's it." Especially since the risk is so high. And my heart goes out to the firefighters. You've seen some of those videos. They're incredibly brave people. Um, but this whole thing has brought to light some of the issues with California's DEI programs and so forth, where they're
What was it? They had I think your dad texted it to us. It was, let me see. What did it say?
it
And
was
I
like
thought
an executive or no, it was
like
a
a
second level
environmental.
fire chief lady who was lesbian or something, and she was saying if
Sacramento bottles up 60 Oregon fire trucks sent to
oh
assist
yeah,
California firefight, lacking smog certificates.
yeah, isn't that
It,
crazy?
seriously?
Yeah. So the like they can't the fire trucks coming into the state can't prove that they're smog legal, so they don't get to come in. What? What? Like lives are at stake, homes are at stake. We
Forget
need
the
more people.
environment at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would say
like the
like the
environment should
environment's
not.
more at stake from not putting out the fires.
Well, that, yes, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
But people's lives are on the line, of course, as well.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. It's like horrible mismanagement of our government. And I'm really glad that we don't live nearby, but it's just so awful for the people that live there. And
Well, do you remember, what was it, a couple of years back? I think it was like beginning of 2022. Do you remember when we had that horrific like storm? It was a category 5 storm or something like that. It was off of uh the coast of Mexico, and it was traveling all the way up into California. It
yeah, I
wasn't
think I remember that.
Hurricane Hillary. I don't remember which hurricane it was, but it eventually turned into a category storm.
Yeah,
It, it turned into a storm, and eventually that hurricane spawned tornadoes, and it was just really bad weather,
yeah.
like really bad. Like you took a look outside, and it was just
California,
pouring
the place
rain.
of great weather, becomes
A
a
lot.
place of terrible weather.
It was just, we had huge flooding issues, especially.
Yeah.
and I remember, what was it? It was like 3 a.m. or something when the storms were going off really badly. Our Amber Alerts went off, and it was like,
Oh
"Oh, seek
yeah.
shelter." And I wanted to text you guys. I'm like, "All right, who changed my alarm clock? Who changed my alarm ringtone
Yeah.
to the Amber Alert noise?" It
Yeah.
was bad. It was really bad, but we needed that rain. And you want to know what Gavin Newsom did? You want to know what he did? He let all of that water go out into the ocean
Yeah.
instead of actually retaining it. That's
Right.
what he did. This brave, bright, shining, self-righteous person
Yeah.
decided to let it go all
Glorious
out into
Governor
the
Gavin
ocean.
Newsom.
Like, are you serious? And then another thing on top of that too, to add, more fuel to the fire, pun intended,
Mm.
he, what is it? Like, he was signing off a bunch of bills or something, basically destroying all the dams
Yeah.
here in California because of the fish and all the beavers and everything. And
Well, I mean, obviously
guys,
there's
you're not going
something
to
to
have an
be. Yeah.
I know,
Obviously
but
there's
you're not
something
going
to
to
be
have an
said for.
ecosystem at that point.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. There's something to be said for environmentalism, but when you take it to the level that it has been taken, it's just ridiculous and it doesn't make any sense. And the first thing that we have to keep in mind here is that the U.S. is one of the cleanest countries in the world. Like we
Our,
don't
what is it? Our
produce
our
nearly
carbon
as
emissions
much
is
carbon per
it's like
capita.
less than, what is it, like less than 5%, I think.
Yeah, like
I
the
think
big
it is.
contributors are China and India
India,
and the other and other
Russia.
third world countries that just don't have a handle on some of that stuff. So
Well,
we're focusing our
China,
resources in the wrong spots here.
China, they, if I'm not mistaken, they dump their garbage and their waste into the ocean,
Yeah, wouldn't surprise me.
and it does eventually, to some extent, I don't know if it's true or not. I'd have to check the articles and some of the sources that I've saw online. It does eventually end up to some extent on the coast of America.
Yeah,
I don't know if on the United States, but around it, my guess,
yeah.
at least I think.
Well, and
What
part
I
of the
do know is
problem with yeah,
they dump their garbage into the ocean. China and India and Russia, they all do it.
right.
And they, for some reason, I don't understand these. I don't understand these environmental activists. They,
Well,
for
part of the
some
problem
reason,
is it comes down to basic like a just basic hatred of humanity. Like they want to limit humanity so much that either we die or we don't progress. So it's just not it's not something that's in the interests of humankind to be pursuing the environmentalism to the same degree that they want. Now,
yeah.
obviously, we need to have some standards. Like we shouldn't be
I,
dumping
I
garbage and toxic chemicals into the environment, but
well,
we have to
speaking
keep
of
it
the
under control.
Yeah, I saw, what was it? A theory by, what's his name? Oh my gosh, Thornburg, I think. Thornburg, not Thornburg. Gosh, that's bad. I'm sorry. Thornburg, I think. Eon Thornburg, I
I don't
think
know.
that's the guy's name. It was a theory, an economic theory, and I think he did put it into practice. I forgot which country it was. He said that if you get the GDP of, for like the average person, like for low income, living in poverty families and individuals above $5,000, the environment would actually clean itself up.
Yeah,
Because the people that don't look,
the people that disrespect the environment the most in California are the people
they're
that are
poor.
homeless. Yeah,
They're
homeless and poor
poor.
people.
They don't care about the environment because they are poor.
Well, they
They,
can't care about the environment. They have to focus
they're
on living.
that's they focus on the Maslow hierarchy of needs, essentially. That's basically
100%.
what it is.
Yeah,
And
100%.
they could not give a rep about the environment or anything because they need to satisfy their basic needs.
Right.
And I feel like the argument ought to be, his theory was that if you get the GDP for those types of people up to $5,000, around there, the US equivalent, they would, to some extent, eventually care about the environment and the environment would clean itself up.
Yeah.
And another thing, too, is that,
Caring about the environment is a luxury. That's
look, the
just how
coal
it
plants
is.
are bad. The coal plants are bad. I will say that. The coal powered plants are really bad for the environment. They are. But the thing is, over time, the carbon emissions do eventually level out. I've seen the statistics for, I have, and I'm not going to show them because I'm too lazy. But the over time, within use, the carbon emissions do even itself
The
out.
Earth has
Then it
stabilized
were to
numerous times from
then it then
cataclysmic
it were to
events.
start it up again.
Yeah.
And I'm not someone who, I guess you could say, is a, I guess, climate change denier or anything, but would like to think to some extent that we need to be a little bit more realistic in terms of the environment and
Yeah.
everything.
The
Like,
problem with the
if you want,
climate change thing is it's taken too far. It's not realistic, and it's it's just
I care
kind of
about the
crazy.
environment.
Yeah.
I definitely do care about the
100%.
environment. I
Right.
care about the beautiful landscape that is of the United States of America, especially within the North American
Yeah.
continent. Canada is beautiful. I've been up in Canada. It's a beautiful country. It
Yeah.
really is.
Right.
And with
And you want to keep it
I
beautiful.
but I don't think having a carbon tax is the way of handling it.
No.
I don't think. I think
No.
there's a better alternative
That
to it
just
to some
hurts
extent.
consumers, and then things get worse because people can't afford,
It
and then you get down to that thing again with the Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Yeah,
People
and then
people
they're going
can't
to
afford
stop
stuff.
caring about.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're not going to
it's
care about the
unfortunate.
environment. Yeah.
Way to go, Trudeau. But I mean, Newsom is also falling into that, and this is another thing too. They gaslight like there's no tomorrow,
Yeah. Yeah.
and oh well, all these forest fires are from you guys. You guys just decide to dump stuff onto the roads and everything. It's like, well, you guys don't clean up.
Yeah.
You guys are all for this. We care about the environment, yet you don't clean up or anything, and you just let it sit there and burn.
Right.
And it's unfortunate because California is, I will say, it's a beautiful state. It is one of the most beautiful states in the United States.
100%.
It really is. I do think Oregon. I would say you could argue Oregon's a little bit better, but California really stands out.
Yeah.
But it is just tarnished by
The
the
politics.
I know the politics, and then I get it. We have a what's our population? Like 34, 40 million or something like that. I don't remember.
Uh
But
what is the
it's close to
population
Canada,
of
I thought.
California? Uh California. There we go. 39,431,000.
Okay. Yeah, that's another thing too. We have a population of 39 million people.
That's a lot of people.
It is a lot, yeah.
And we have to, we have to focus on the basic services to help out that population, right? So fire departments, police departments, those are two really basic ones that you really need to support the people. And some of the other stuff you can delve into, but you have to ensure that those two are in place. Um,
Yeah.
because if you don't have those, you have stuff like this going on where you don't have the infrastructure, you don't have the fire departments to support putting out all these fires that we know are going to happen because it always happens in California.
It, it, it's unfortunate. I will say it's very unfortunate that it sucks. It
Yeah,
really does.
it's the
Because
worst.
look, the Sierra Nevada, the mountains and everything, that's beautiful. Mount Shasta is beautiful. Looking at all that stuff from afar, traveling to that, and then looking back and seeing that from afar in the distance, it's just
It's breathtaking.
shocking. It's
Yeah,
it's beautiful. It's all tarnished by this. It, it's
terrible
much darker
politics,
than what it actually is.
terrible
Yeah.
policies. Yeah, yeah. Well, on that note, we're at an hour and 53 minutes. 54.
I see that right there.
Um, it sucks. I know.
It
I,
does
I
suck.
I hope that people really can find a way to
Well,
make things
it makes
better.
me hope to some extent that people do actually put their vote where their mouth is and actually,
Yeah,
change their perception for how they vote.
yeah. We'll
And
see.
I
I don't
know,
know.
I know because thing is, you get this. I've heard this a lot, and it is actually true. If you for a lot of Californians that move out of state and go to Texas or all the other states, a lot of people are saying, okay, well, if you're moving to our state, you need to change how you vote
Yeah.
because if you're bringing in whatever type of policies into our state, you're just going to bring in more problems into from California
Right. Just make another
that are from
California.
that state. It's yeah,
Yeah.
and it it, it sucks.
Yeah.
Canada is the prime example. I'm just going to say that.
Yeah. Canada
I
really
think
has
a
gone
lot of
down the toilet.
I do think, well, I am hopeful for Canada to some
Yeah.
extent. I do think Canadians up there, up in the north, they are a little bit hopeful for what's to come, especially for 2026. I think it's 2026 is the election, if I'm not mistaken. Or was
Um,
it this year?
they're hoping. I think they're hoping that they can get it scheduled for this year because I think they can change it.
They can?
Yeah, I think they can. Like, um, the
Their system of
Conservative
power
Party
is
leader is.
interesting.
I think he tried to file for an election last year to get Trudeau out, and I think that it was passed up. Like they didn't want to do it,
Yeah.
and they didn't vote on it. Um, and I think he's going to try to get one done this year as well. So we'll see. It's probably going to be. I think I heard that they said like March or there after that date. Will
Yeah,
be
because right now,
approximately.
what is it? What was supposed to forgot what was happening during that time. Was it just like a break or something? The party system was taking a break or whatever, the government, I don't know what it
I don't
was.
really know. The Canadian politics
But
are confusing to us
it
Americans.
it's very confusing, I would say.
Yeah,
They have a like what is it? A
parliamentary system or
multi
something.
parliamentary system, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's a little different, but we'll see how that goes. We'll see how
Yeah.
California's fire situation goes, and we'll
Well,
see how
hopefully that
Trump's situation
I
goes with
know
his.
we got 9 days
Yeah, that's crazy.
until his reign comes into play.
His reign, yeah.
His
His
reign of
his
power.
what do you call it? Not his administration. What do they call it when they don't like it?
Okay, I'm hoping this is true because I think it would be funny. On his first day, he said that he was going to override the whole ban on California's gas-powered engine vehicles,
That'd
the
be
sale
funny.
of gas-powered
That'd be
engines
good.
by 2035. If he over, dude, that would be hilarious. I would
Regime
love
is
that.
what
I
they
think
call
that'd
it.
be,
Regime.
I that would be so funny if
Yeah.
that actually
I know we've been
happened.
talking about that. We live in California, yeah, and the
I
gas
know we
powered
do.
engines. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, a lot of the. I'll say this real quick. It's unfortunate that a lot of the landscapers they need to use the gas stuff
I know.
because it's efficient.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
Anyway.
yeah. Hopefully, I really hope that the California fires do get put out. I
Yes.
do hope that. And
Yeah.
I
Or
hope
at least
people
got
do
under
actually,
control.
they eventually get back up on their feet. I
Yeah.
do hope that.
Yeah. Definitely. Um and politics aside, like this is just a human issue. Don't like if you're thinking if you're a conservative and you see all these Californians in trouble, you don't say, "Hey, that's good." You say, "That sucks." Like I hope that they're okay. Cuz politics that's not right. You don't do that's not what we do.
Well,
Um
that's what happened with the Maui fires and everything. And most people in Hawaii are of the, of the liberal,
persuasion.
yeah, with the liberal mindset.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised to some extent that they decided to vote for Kamala because they didn't get any help from the Biden administration.
Yeah.
They didn't.
Yeah.
So that's just eye-opening to me. I
Well,
don't
I
know.
don't know. Maybe it has something to do with the gaslighting. I'm not
Maybe,
sure.
maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll
Regardless,
see.
I think we'll end it here because we're almost to two
We're gonna
hours,
go
and I
play.
really got to go
We're,
pee.
we're
Um,
gonna go play Rivals as well.
yes, I'm so excited. Okay. So we appreciate you sticking with us this far. It's 2 hours in, and we had a lot of fun talking with you today. So this is Logan
Good fun.
and my co-host.
This is Nelson. Thank you for watching. We hope you guys, whatever you guys are doing, we hope you have a good day.
Yep, absolutely. Bye bye.
Bye bye.